Good morning. Happy Monday. And I mostly say that because I need to remind myself what day of the week it is. So I just finished my fifth shift here, and it was fine. I don't know, like, I say, oh, it was fine. And people are like, oh, it was fine. I'm like, yeah, like, fine is the new kind of fine, is different than the old fine. Does that make sense? Like everything is kind of defined differently now. Um, I had the same assignment that I had the night before. So I had, oh no, wait, I take that back. One of them changed out, but I had three COVID patients. And I think yesterday I probably said the night went fine, but honestly, it really didn't go fine in that my one guy needed Q1, sorry, Q1 hour bedside point of care, which meant in a 12-hour period, at minimum, I was in his room 12 times with a known COVID patient. Like, hello. We're just trying to like bundle our care, minimize, go in once every 4 hours. They're continuously monitored. You can see that from the station, whatever. And aside from that, he just was not the most agreeable person ever and not so happy about being there. So that included him at times ripping out his IVs, which I had to start all over again, taking the monitors off. I had to put the monitors back on, and just some general undesirable activities and behaviors that you would think a grown man would not, but whatever. Not going to judge. But the problem was that was coupled with a group of residents that were maybe not necessarily as strong as I would hope, or maybe, I'll just leave it right there. Anyhow. Seriously, when I have 3 COVID patients and I'm running my butt off, it's probably not a good idea to come up to me and say, I need that number in 7 minutes. Okay. Well, you might get it in 7 minutes, but clearly his life doesn't depend on it. And I'm talking about AccuChecks, so using a glucometer to check someone's sugar. And we have one glucometer for the entire unit, and none of us that are there from outside hospitals or from out of state have a code to use it. I'm like, okay, well, the machine's not available. And the girl who's on staff who has the code is currently on break. Do you need me to get her dressed and pull her out of break for your Anyhow, long and the short of it happened once or twice until he got the idea of what my stink eye meant. But at the second time, it was like, it's due in 4 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I know. Well, yeah, you might be lucky. And so he and his little gaggle of whatever watched me go into the room to get their number, which was so urgent, and I come out of the room and they completely left the emergency room and gone. I'm like, really? Like, I don't even, I have no words. So, and then the number that they left for me to page them, because it was so important for the result, they gave the wrong extension, so it went to a conference room where nobody was. Or they gave the extension where they thought they were going, and then they decided they weren't going to go there. Because they were waiting on this critical result. Yeah. So I stewed over that yesterday morning as I tried to unwind and go to sleep. And I was like, yeah, we're not playing that game again. And I went back to work last night, and the day shift nurse that had him was just as frustrated because I had played the same song and dance all day long with him until like 5 p.m. And then they were like, well, we just want you to check it every hour, but we don't want you to treat it. So I just took a report from him, and I was like, have a good sleep. And when it was a different resident on last night when he came in, I was like, we need to have a huddle, and he was like, yeah, I don't think so. Like every 4 hours is fine, and whatever. So it's just the whole process. My point is kind of in delivering care in an environment like this, where normal expectations in a regular ICU unit is fine, but you have to weigh in like the risk of exposure. Like not a single one of those doctors ever put on an isolation gown and acted like they were going to go in that room that night. Not a single one of them went to the bedside and assessed that patient. And no offense, I mean, I have friends that are doctors, love them to death, but it's like, come on. It's, at any rate, the other Pittsburgh girls did sort of bark at one of the docs right before shift change and was like, yeah, this is not going to fly, and I hope you all aren't back tonight, or we're going to have some serious powwows. And the one senior resident, I think we kind of, anyhow, our message was received, and her peace offering was, my ringtone's Harry Potter. Okay. Whatever. I don't even, sorry. But anyhow, it was fine. Last night was fine, and things were more in line, and it just comes with being green or having different expectations for different units. But clearly when a facility is so overrun that an emergency room is turned into a satellite ICU and we have vented prone patients everywhere, that's some of what is normal and standard needs to be reevaluated, not only for a safety aspect, but logistically and what have you. So last night when I got into work, it was Sunday night, and they were like, we're really running low on gowns. And I was like, well, my guy, after last night, like, you're going to need to do something. And if, whatever, we knock heads and I'm in there at least once an hour, that's 12 gowns in one room if I only go in once an hour. But in the meanwhile, if he pulls out his IV or he does, any of the games that he was playing the day before, that's one room with all of that, and everybody's got, really sick patients. So anyhow, I wound up getting a Tyvek suit so that I just wore it all night long, and then I could wear that and then just wipe it off. Coming in and out, and then of course we just decreased the amount of times that I was going in the room, and that solved a lot of the problem too. But just these kind of things that you don't normally think of. So that's my anecdotal story. That and so, yeah, in my life, have I been kicked out of a bar? Yeah, whatever. They tried to kick me out of Dollar Tree this morning. Dollar Tree. I mean, I've hit an all-time low. But I tried to swing home, like, just up the street is a Whole Foods and a Dollar Tree. So I was like, I'm going to go to Whole Foods because last night's dinner stunk. I had a microwavable lime cilantro rice. That was good. And I had a tuna packet that was flavored, and I don't know whether the flavors didn't match or I just didn't like the tuna, but anyhow, so basically I had a bowl of rice for dinner, so I was like, okay, regroup, get something. I went to Whole Foods. I had to wait in line to go to the grocery store. You have to wait 6 feet apart all the way down the block. I waited in line, got in there, and I don't normally shop at Whole Foods, so a little bit of a sticker shock. Like, I was not prepared to be paying $9 for a loaf of bread. And yeah. So their shelves were pretty empty. So like my choice was bone broth and bread and, just nothing. I wasn't spending $16 a pound on cheese or whatever. So that was kind of a short trip. But I was like, you know what? That's fine. I'm just going to shoot down the way to Dollar Tree because I know I can pick up. Well, that's where I got the lime cilantro rice, the microwave. I was like, they got mac and cheese cups. I can get a box of pasta, throw together a pasta salad, whatever. And I walked in the store, and I don't know because I had my N95 on because as I was walking out of the hospital, I broke my surgical mask by accident, and they were out of them because the supplies hadn't come up yet. So I wound up getting an N95, which was fine. So I had the N95 on. It was at Whole Foods. That wasn't a problem. Everything was fine. But apparently at the Dollar Tree, where they're, their clientele or so, whatever, it's mandated you have to wear gloves, like effective today, I guess. I don't even know because I was in there last week and didn't have gloves on and nobody said anything. So I walked in the door and she was like, ma'am. I was like, just like, what? And she was like, do you have gloves on? And she's showing me her hands and I'm like, the invisible gloves? What are we talking about? She's like, you have to have gloves on. I go, okay, where do I get them? And she's like, and I was like, and then she was like, well, we have garden gloves right there. I was like, guess I'm buying garden gloves today at the Dollar Tree to go shopping at the Dollar Tree. I was so I gotta wear my gloves and my hat. She supervises me. I'm like, do you want to help me pick the pattern? I could plaid or flowers. Do you like the pink or the blue? I don't know. But she literally stood on my elbow and supervised me getting gloves at the Dollar Tree. I was like, are you going to call the po-po on me? So I had to go right to the register and pay and put my gloves on. And then I was welcome to shop at the Dollar Tree. Anyhow. So that's my 2 stories for the day. They are trying to open, I guess they have an old ER and a new ER. So this morning they were trying to figure out if they could open the old ER because we had some psych hold patients, which just doesn't go well with this like high acuity COVID patients. And then you got to have sitters, and then sitters need to be relieved for breaks. So you have to pull a nurse off a vented patient to sit with a psych patient. Just doesn't make sense. So anyhow, they are trying to figure out whether they can open the old ER today. And they were going to take the psych patients down there. And I also don't know whether or not those psych patients were COVID positive or not. And we pretty much just assume the whole ER is COVID positive. And because we're all in negative pressure, like that air is freely moving around. So I don't really understand how they felt like they could keep the ER. I guess you can't close an ER and turn people. I mean, you can put them on diversion. But, yeah, anyhow, so they were going to try and do that today. And the director came in this morning, and he's just really great. And so he was making things happen, and all of a sudden we got keys to all the doors, and he's fixing up my last piece of IT, which isn't working, guarantees me that he'll have it by this afternoon. And he was not happy that we had gotten so close to the bottom of our supply with gowns, gave us his personal cell phone number. He was like, people know when I call. So that was all good. But anyhow, yeah, that's my story. Kicked out of the Dollar Tree. Sorry. I need to go to bed. Have a great day.